At this time, CBS presents a special broadcast from Manila in the Philippine Islands. We are to hear from Manuel Quezon, president of the islands, who speaks in connection with the inauguration of the new 10,000-watt broadcasting station KZRM in Manila and the formal announcement of its affiliation with the Columbia Broadcasting System. KZRM is now the farthest station east of the 125 stations in the Columbia network. Following the President's address, we shall present from Washington the Vice President of the United States, Henry A. Wallace. Dr. Carlos Romulo, manager of station KZRM, will introduce President Quezon. Go ahead, Manila.
Friends in America, under the auspices of the station KZRM Radio Manila, the pioneer broadcasting station in the Philippines, we are able to greet you halfway around the world today on the occasion of the 63rd birthday of our beloved President. This broadcast is historic. By arrangement with the Columbia Broadcasting System, the vast Columbia network has been extended to the Far East, thus linking 110 stations in the United States and South America with the stations KZRM and KZRF of Far Eastern Broadcasting. This broadcast inaugurates this vital new link of communication between American democracy and the only democracy in Asia. Tonight, therefore, across 8,000 miles of ocean, we in the Philippines extend to you the warm handclasp of fraternal greeting. It is fitting that our thoughts should turn to America on this memorable anniversary. For the democratic training which made the leadership of Manuel Quezon possible among us, and the mutual compact which made the Commonwealth government a reality, were ours only through the benevolent gift of the great American people and their government. The leadership which President Quezon has enjoyed this past more than 20 years is a leadership based upon solid democratic foundations. Under his guiding hand, we have come to understand what freedom means and to enjoy its manifold blessings. We have come to know the glory of the American way of life and have sought to pattern our own upon it. Therefore, on this occasion, we have paused a moment to share a thought and a sentiment with you. For it is ever a sort of pleasure and pride for us Filipinos to remember that in these perilous days we are bound to you, the people of America, by the strongest ties of mutuality and goodwill, and by the ties of a common loyalty to democracy. Friends in America, I am highly honored to present to you His Excellency, the President of the Philippines, the Honorable Manuel Quezon.
Mr. Vice President Wallace and people of the United States, I welcome the opportunity of addressing a few words to the people of the United States and to restate the stand of the Filipino people in this grave national emergency. We owe loyalty to America, and we are bound to her by bonds of everlasting gratitude. Should the United States enter the war, the Philippines will follow her and fight by her side, placing at her disposal all our manpower and material resources to help her in achieving victory for the cause for which America would fight is our own cause. The United States seeks to defend the principles which we cherish and without which we could not live as a free nation. cease striving to preserve liberty and democracy and individual freedom. And these are things for which we too would fight and die. The United States is struggling to prevent the domination of the world by dictators. And we too would fight and die against such masters. The United States wants to uphold the rule of right and justice in international relations and to safeguard the independence of small nations, to free them from the fear of aggression and subjugation by military power. And we too would fight and die to save our country from such threats and peril. So, if the United States decides to enter this war, it will be our war as much as the war of the United States, and her decision will be our own decision. In such event, we will find all the people of my country, to the last man on her side, fighting under her banner and praying to Almighty God for the victory of her arms. Our stake in this war is more than the continued existence of democracy and individual freedom in the world. It is more than the maintenance of a free economy and free commercial intercourse among nations and an unregimented social life. Our stake in this war is our own future independence and the assurance that that independence will endure. We are endeavoring to the full measure of our resources to hasten the execution of our national defense program. The United States government, I am happy to say, is also doing everything to strengthen the military defenses of our country. I trust that very soon it will be possible for the government of the United States to send us more planes and more guns and ammunition to increase our power of resistance against invasion. We only need more equipment and more supplies, for we have abundant manpower. We have strong, intelligent young men who are eager to join the ranks for our defense and to uphold the principles which President Roosevelt has proclaimed to the world. The Commonwealth government has been working in intimate collaboration with the United States High Commissioner for, and especially with Lieutenant General MacArthur in carrying out our national defense program. I wish to make public my appreciation of the splendid spirit of cooperation which has been patterned in all our dealings with the civil and military authorities of the United States in the Philippines. Above all, I wish to express our gratitude for the interest which President Roosevelt and the American government have shown in the defense of the Philippines. Mr. Vice President, in conclusion, I wish to assure you and the people of America that we are with the United States in life and in death.
You have just heard the Honorable Manuel Quezon, President of the Philippines, speaking from his private library in Malacañang Palace here in Manila. We return you now to CBS in Washington.
Continuing this broadcast, which marks the inauguration of the new 10,000-watt station KZRM in Manila and the formal announcement of its affiliation with the Columbia Broadcasting System, from Columbia's Washington studios, the Honorable Henry A. Wallace, Vice President of the United States, speaks to the Philippines on the occasion of the celebration of the birthday of the President of the Philippines, the Honorable Manuel Quezon. The Vice President of the United States, Henry A. Wallace.
It is with real pleasure, Mr. President, that I join with the people of the Philippine Commonwealth in felicitating you on your birthday. The 63 years of your eventful life have been marked by the rise of the Filipinos as a nation from a condition of utter servitude, and that rise has been in great part due to your own efforts. Despite the growing national consciousness of the Filipinos, and despite the passage in 1934 of the Philippine Independence Act, the Philippine Commonwealth is still an integral part of the United States. It will continue as a unit of our country at least until July 4th, 1946, when the present law provides that an independent Philippine Republic shall be inaugurated. Until that day, Filipinos owe the same allegiance to the Stars and Stripes that we do here. And, Mr. President, I am happy to note that they are proving their loyalty just as convincingly. The enthusiastic response of the great mass of Filipinos to President Roosevelt's order, federalizing the Philippine Army, has been a source of profound gratification to us in Washington. It is proof that the Philippine Commonwealth stands with us, shoulder to shoulder, in the worldwide defense of democracy. We here in Washington are well aware of the crisis facing Philippine economy as the result of your willingness to cooperate with us. Your crops cannot be marketed unless ships are available to carry them to market. The urgent necessity of winning the Battle of the Atlantic before anything else means that your needs, in many cases, must take second place. This is hard news to you 16 million Filipinos, but keep this in mind also. The moment we have ships to spare, the Philippines will receive full consideration. President Quezon, we in the United States have watched your career with intense interest for more than 3 decades. Ever since in 1909 you came to Washington as the first of a distinguished line of Philippine resident commissioners to the United States. Later we saw you as a leader of the progressively more successful independence missions, and most recently as President of the Philippine Commonwealth when you came to Washington in 1937. On all these occasions, Americans were repeatedly impressed by your ability, your drive, and your sincerity. And it is these very qualities that are responsible for the great esteem in which you are held by Americans and Filipinos alike today. Because we know you so well and admire you for what you have done for your people, we Americans have confidence in you as the leader of a nation that is standing with us in defense of the democratic way of life. As you yourself declared only a few weeks ago, American ideals in this conflict are identical with those of the Philippines. Our hopes and ambitions are yours. It was good to hear you declare that unless individual freedom is triumphant, there will be no place in the future world for any small nation. To the great task of assuring a better world of the future, the Filipino people, under your able leadership, have dedicated themselves with their whole spirit, their full manpower, and all their resources. Under the direction of that brilliant American soldier, General Douglas MacArthur, you have undertaken the training of a fine citizens' army. Those forces today are a loyal, valuable, and welcome addition to our own military strength in the Far East. In the economic field, you have submitted yourselves to a rigorous system of export control. While this has been of material assistance to American foreign policy, it has also drastically curtailed your export trade.